In 1957, Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human to fly into space. When he looked down at the Earth, a question occurred. Can you see the Great Wall of China from space? A myth had been around for ages claiming that the huge wall was the only human-made object that could be seen from space. But when Gagarin looked down from above, the wall was difficult to spot, a tiny line among the vast expanse of the Earth's surface. This myth, false as it was, became a giant part of the wall's folklore. So what is the truth about this wondrous structure? How did a humble defensive system become an emblem of Chinese power, weather the centuries, and spawn a multitude of myths? This is the tale of the Great Wall of China, its true story, the myths it spawned, and its legacy. The Great Wall of China is not a single wall, but a complex series of walls constructed to secure the northern edge of China against invasion. The construction began as early as the 7th century BC during the Warring States. But the best-known and most enduring sections of the wall were constructed during the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644. It is over 13,000 miles in length, and this gigantic construction wasn't done in one lifetime. It was constructed by a multitude of generations over a series of dynasties. Gradually, successive dynasties added their own sections, and a massive complex of walls, watchtowers, and fortifications was constructed. At its most basic, the wall was a military structure. It was constructed to counter the constant threat of the nomadic tribes north of China, namely the Mongols. They were fighting men, skilled horsemen, and raiders. To guard against these raids, China required more than soldiers. They required a strong, stationary defense. The wall would be both a physical and an early warning system, sending signals such as smoke and fire to alert soldiers to danger nearby. But its purpose was greater than defense. While its defensive intent is widely known, the actual history of the wall is something greater than straightforward military engineering. The wall is a cultural icon, inspiring myths, legends, and tales of human sacrifice. For many years, people have debated whether the wall can actually be seen from space. Regardless of what we've heard, could it be more than a wall? Could it be such a powerful symbol that it is a part of China's identity? Building the wall was not just a great engineering feat. It was a massive human effort, bringing together many workers of different backgrounds. Soldiers, farmers, and even prisoners were forced to work on the construction of this wall, with millions working for decades. The work was hard, the climate was harsh, and many people suffered greatly. Workers used basic tools and depended on their strength and creativity to move huge stones across the rough terrain. In some places, the wall was made of earth, and in others, it was made of stone and brick. In the most impressive parts, granite blocks were moved using ropes, levers, and rollers. As this structure went on, something else was happening, something unexpected. The wall became a symbol of unity for a nation's spirit, its conflict, and its hopes. The myths and legends of the wall captured the hearts of the Chinese people, and these legends played a role in history. The actual importance of the Great Wall goes beyond its practical use for the military. The wall was a significant contributor to China's expansion, affecting not only military strategy but culture and commerce as well. It was more than a barrier. It allowed for trade and communication along its path. Merchants used portions of the wall as trade routes, carrying goods between China and its northern neighbors. These early trade routes later became a part of the Silk Road. The wall, in fact, brought cultures together and allowed for commerce, although its main purpose was to keep invaders out. However, the cost of such a huge structure was very high. The human cost was staggering. Hundreds of thousands of workers are estimated to have died while building it, either from exhaustion, disease, or bad weather. Entire families were affected, and villages were destroyed. The environmental cost was just as high. The wholesale cutting down of trees needed to provide materials for brickmaking and stone quarrying harmed the land severely. In many areas, the landscape which was once green and alive was left desolate. The legacy of the wall lives on, not just in the bricks and stones that still stand, but in the stories that continue to be told. One of the stories is of Meng Jiangnu, a woman whose husband died building the wall. Legend says that her deep sadness made her cry so much that a section of the wall fell down, revealing her husband's bones. This tragic story, and others like it, add human emotion to the tale of the wall, highlighting the sacrifices of ordinary people. Over the years, the Great Wall started to fall apart. When the Qing dynasty took over, the wall no longer served its original purpose. It had become an old historic site, losing its military importance. Yet the wall was not abandoned. In the 20th century, efforts were made to preserve and restore parts of the wall, especially as people came to appreciate its cultural importance more and more. Today, the wall is one of the world's most visited places, with millions of tourists every year. The myth that the wall is visible from space lasted for decades in the 20th century, but astronauts have told us that the wall cannot be seen with the naked eye from orbit. It is simply too thin and blends too well with the surrounding land. But still, the myth survives as proof of the power of human imagination. It reminds us of our ability to create amazing things and push the limits of what we think is possible. The truth about the wall, though, is even greater than any myth. It is not about whether or not it can be seen from space. The importance of the Great Wall lies in what it represents: the hard work, creativity, and sacrifices of the many people who helped build it. It is proof of China's strength and determination, built from the sweat of its workers and the visions of its leaders. As we look at the wall today, we see similarities with challenges we face today. Whether it is building a large construction project or trying to protect cultural history, the challenges faced by those who built the wall are the same ones builders face today. The Great Wall teaches us about finding a balance between progress and sacrifice, and the need to protect our heritage while moving forward. The Great Wall of China is a contradiction. It is both a huge achievement and a proof of the cost of that achievement. While it protected China from the outside world, it was also built at a great human and environmental cost. Its construction was a massive team effort, but also a personal one, told through the stories of the people who worked to build it. The wall is a physical example of the lengths people will go to protect their home and culture. If you've enjoyed the story of the Great Wall of China, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave your comments below. What do you think is the most important part of the wall's legacy? Join the conversation and tune in for more in-depth explorations of history's most fascinating stories.